pure hypothetical to start us off. You guys took drugs and you have to do a urine test, a drug test. You need to pass this, but it's going to show up that you've got drugs in your system. How are you going to get around this?
Doctor's note.
You have to do it.
They're medically, necessary drugs.
Okay, Carlin?
I'd fudge the test. Is it sprung on me? I need more for the hypothetical. I'm sorry. So, what's the situation? Like, they walk in,
in a week's time, you're going to have to do a drugs test, and you smoked a joint of marijuana a couple days ago.
and I know I'm like, dang it. Okay.
I'm going to the place where I'm going to have to do the test, cutting a hole in the bathroom, and getting my Russian teammates handing clean urine through back and forth, and resulting in the whole country being banned.
I was thinking bag of urine. Don't ask, don't tell where I get it from. Not me. Strap it to my leg. Long pants. Tube going up. Straight up through the pants. Boom.
Aren't you better off having it higher up so then gravity can make it run down? What, you're going to squeeze your legs together to push the...
I mean, that's a fair point. But what? I put it on my back?
Wear a hoodie, put it in your front, have your hands.
Oh, true, and then I can just give it a bit of a squeeze. Yeah,
Get one of those smugglers' pregnant bellies.
We're cooking.
Well, you're onto something, Carlin, but I think you've missed a fatal flaw here if there's someone looking at your test. If they have to watch you, as some drug tests do, they might see, they'll see it's not coming out of your penis. So
Is that where it comes out of?
Well, it's stored in the balls.
Is that normal?
But the way around that is potentially using a fake penis. And that's the story.
Now we've got ideas.
That's the story I have for you today. The fake penis that defrauded the United States of America. Hello and welcome to the Wild World of Sports, the podcast where three friends sit down, crack a couple beers, and go on a journey to try and discover the wildest story in the world of sports. I am the story man, stories are, whatever we came up with last week. I can't remember. I'm leading the story today. I'm James Whybrow.
I'm James's brother Ben, no relation.
I'm a man of many names.
You've used that one already.
Have I? I can't remember. I'm going to use a few, I feel like, if I'm trying to be fresh every time. I'm Carlin. Hello.
Well, we'll get a good name for you at the end of the episode. Carlin something.
I have to keep it appropriate.
Yes. Well, I'll start off talking about the fake penis that was used to pass drug tests. So it was made in 2004, a device called the Whizzinator by Puck Technologies.
A little bit like the Shiwi?
Sort of like the Shiwi, yeah. So what it is, it comes with a whole kit that you buy. It was about $150 it retailed at the time.
All right.
And what it was a sort of, a jock strap.
$150 in 2004, that's pretty...
Yeah,
that's
it's
hefty.
steep. It's steep.
Okay.
A jock strap. So imagine almost like Speedo sort of style undies.
Yeah.
It's like that, and in the crotch area is a fake penis.
Okay.
That only comes in one size. And the kit
How many colours does it come in?
That's a very good question.
The penis?
It comes in 5 colours, Benjamin.
5 colours.
You have your choice of black, brown, Latino, tan, or white. I've seen the pictures of it, and you can find them as well, and we'll put them up.
You studied the pictures, did you?
I studied them very intently. We'll put them up. And it was funny, a lot of the things I was reading about it that have pictures say, well, when you Google this, don't do it if you're squeamish or ha ha ha, because it was the early 2000s, so people weren't as exposed to this sort of wild stuff.
Right. Live Leak wasn't as big back then.
Yeah. But the black one is very black, not like a black skin tone colour. Almost like a...
What, like jet black?
Like close to jet black. It probably wouldn't be fooling many people. And the white was a really pale white.
Right, so it's like something you get from Hot Dollar, like...
Yeah, that sort of
real,
thing.
Not quite right.
The kit also included dried urine. So a little sort of, Pop Rocks? that sort of pouch.
Like popping candy.
Yeah, like
That's disgusting.
the
You're
pouch.
telling me it's dried into like little rocks to pop.
Well, that's what it's in, that sort of pouch, and you add the precise amount of water and shake it up, and it turns into synthetic urine. Also
Who
includes
made this product?
Puck Technologies
Okay.
made this product, and there's a couple
Who are
other
they?
What the
variations.
puck is wrong with them?
Yeah.
Well, they advertised it in 2004
What was
as
the-
a way to cheat drug tests. This was the
Okay,
whole
so they were
purpose
just
of it.
being
They knew
straight up
exactly
about
what they
it.
were doing.
Okay.
Straight up about it. So it had a syringe, so
can't
you
fault
could
them,
take
being
the dried urine out and put it into the heater packs that you, because you doing a fake urine test, you hand someone the cup with it, and it's cold or lukewarm. They're going to know it didn't come straight from the source. So it needs to be on your body with heater packs. So there's a little pouch that the urine is stored in, and there's a little tube that comes out into the fake penis, and so when you press the button, the urine starts coming out, and the false penis, of course, is part of this kit. So you can keep the urine warm, you can have it come out of the penis, and you can also buy the individual urine packs. You don't have to buy the whole kit every time you need to do this.
What happens if it's a bit cold when I go to use my fake penis?
Well,
Does it still work?
I haven't seen any drug testing where someone else is holding your penis.
Right.
So as long as you don't go, "Oh, that's cold," when you grab it, I think you'd be safe there.
Yeah. All right.
And there is also a women's version of this.
Comes in pink.
It's the Urinator,
How? Okay.
and that one was $169.95. So upcharging for the women.
Yeah, but what's the logistics of the women's one? How does that?
Well, the women's one is the same thing, except there's no fake penis, and it's exactly what you were saying. There's a little tube
Right,
thing that comes
okay.
up. So I don't know where that comes up and out of something if they have to do a test where they've got to drop trowel and whatever.
It's just a see-through plastic toilet. Someone's lying on the floor.
They've got VAR from like every angle.
Surely you can just... it probably would hurt incredibly badly, but get, a syringe, stab it straight into the bladder and pull out the piss from the inside.
Oh.
That'd stop anyone from cheating.
That's horrific. Couldn't they, at that stage, why don't they just do a blood test or something?
Well, that's something we can get into about the
Right, okay.
falseness of testing and that sort of thing, and the better ways to do it, and how you can and can't cheat in things. But when I was researching the Urinator, when you go on their website, it came up with this warning message that you had to click on to then get to the product. Attention, the intent of the manufacture and sale of the Urinator is strictly for protecting your privacy of a genetically predisposed medical condition. So they don't say anything about it being cheating a drug test. They're very clear that that's not what we're doing.
Right.
And the Urinator came out the same time as the Whizzinator.
Yeah, it's around the same time. And the Whizzinator...
But
from
same
Puck
company, though?
That's from a different company.
Okay.
But the Whizzinator has their own version, which is called the Whiz Kit.
Do they have different levels of dehydration? Like,
I
what if,
couldn't
what
see
if
that.
they,
It was
what if
all
they grab
yellow.
you right after a huge training session? So you're sweating really profusely, and it's like it's going to be a dark amber. Or you've been hit hard in contact, and there's going to be a little red in there.
I don't
pick the
think
colour?
they had different colours for it. The pictures I saw of then the synthetic urine, it was all the... Not quite, oh my God, I'm dehydrated yellow, but I should probably have a couple glasses of water, sort of yellow. I think we all know the colour scale that we're talking about here. But I'll get into some drug testing. This story, the main story I want to talk about with the Whizzinator, comes from the NFL. So I'm going to use the NFL's drug testing policy as sort of our benchmark. So in 2005, the NFL has a very strict no drug policy. This is in the United States.
Very strict at that point.
Yeah.
Before that, they're like, whatever, do as many as you want.
Well,
In fact, we encourage you.
Well, as of now, the NFL stopped suspending players for weed with all the legalizations in different states and it being a medical product and now just for general use. You can buy it over the counter like alcohol in a lot of states.
Makes sense.
So silly to ban players for that sort of thing. Wasn't the case back in 2004. In 2024, they actually increased it from being 150 ng/ml in your system to 350. So you have to have had a lot of, this is specifically marijuana, in your system to actually get caught.
Yeah.
And you can only be tested during pre-season training and the first pre-season game. So really only a month, 2 months of time. So they've got the rule there now, but they really don't care too much about
And that's
marijuana use.
specifically for marijuana. You can't just be juicing up all off season and then coming back.
Yeah, they're doing different testing for steroids and that sort of thing. This one's specifically for marijuana, recreational drugs. So in 2005, the NFL had a 3-strike policy that if you were caught with recreational drugs in your system or on your persons or selling it or whatever it was 3 times, you're suspended for a year. So the first strike gets you some sort of punishment. The second strike will be a multiple game suspension, and the third strike, a year suspended from the league.
Maybe I'm up on a high horse, a bit too high, but you're a professional athlete being paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. You can't just not smoke weed or do drugs.
What else am I meant to do with my money?
Well, there's stories of a lot of NFL players that played high because they loved it, and there's a lot of research. This is talking about now about the benefits of CBD oils and THC oils in recovery and that sort of thing. But the NFL stance now is that it can alienate fans from players and that sort of thing if they're using drugs. So for a urine sample to be taken, the NFL states the NFL testing guidelines include having the player take off his shirt and pull down his pants below his knees in front of an observer.
Like he's in kindergarten.
Yeah, exactly. I never took my shirt off when I was in kindergarten. I did pull the pants all the way down there.
I remember when I lived in America, there was this guy. His name was Jordan. I still remember. And yeah, every single time, like you went to the bathroom, he would just boop all the way down at the urinal, and everyone would just be like, you don't have to do that. He never got the message. Never.
Oh, Jordan. I wonder if he's still doing it to this day.
I hope he is. I hope he's stuck to it. Good on him, as he should.
On to synthetic urines now. You might be thinking science has come a long way. It should be able to pick up what's real urine and what's fake urine. But the people that make this stuff, they know that they're going to be expecting it. And the test it's not testing for, is this real urine? It's testing for the byproducts in it and the levels that it are. So things will give away whether or not something's urine or not. So while some synthetic urine can closely mimic natural urine in terms of pH, creatine, and specific gravity, drug testing labs are equipped to detect fake urine and adulterated samples. And they do this by testing for specific compounds found in real human urine, but not in synthetic versions, such as uric acid and creatine enzymes. So you can buy creatine over the counter, add a little bit to it that's in a normal amount of urine. I'm just making up numbers, but say it's an average male NFL size, there's about 5 mils to 10 mils of creatine in their urine. So we'll put 7 in, so it'll show up at a normal range. The creatine enzymes is something that you can't just add. So if they're looking for it, it won't come up. Additionally, labs check for adulterants that people might add to try and mask the drugs, like oxidants or substances that interfere with the test. So recently, because these drug testing companies hold on to samples forever, they keep retesting them. So 20 years after the fact, you could get caught using something that they didn't have the ability to test for that we do now.
Makes sense, because that's like why you get all those like delayed stories and like the long distance running one. I saw a lot of that stuff when I was researching it.
Things stay in your system for a longer time depending what it is. So alcohol is up to 5 days, amphetamine, so methamphetamine, up to 4 days, cocaine up to 7 days, fentanyl 4 days, nicotine 7 days, opioids 10 days, oxycodone 4 days. But marijuana, if you're a regular user, that's going to stay in your system for up to 6 weeks.
Damn.
Could be up to 90 days for some individuals as well if they really are chronic users. So you can see, if you are a player doing this, why you would turn to synthetic urine. Now, I've just said the reasons that it won't work, but they don't always catch them out. It's
You're not always testing for everything. You're selectively testing.
Exactly. So there is ways to beat the system, but the system should win. And we'll see a bit later that the American government thought that these systems could be fooled. But I'll turn to our protagonist, our main Whizzinator culprit, Ontario Smith. Now,
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it is a cool name. It's a football name.
A lot of cool names in the NFL.
Oh yeah, Ontario Smith. He's he's still alive now, but speaking for his playing career, 6'1", 226 pounds, which is roughly 102 kilos, and he was a running back. So he started at the University of Tennessee, then moved to the University of Oregon, and was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings 105th overall. And Ontario Smith was a bit of a character. He shaved SOD into the side of his head after the draft, which he said meant steal of the draft, because he'd he was a bit perturbed by being drafted 105. He thought he deserved to go a bit higher than that. The reasoning he was drafted lower was because he had some off-field issues. His NFL stats, he only played for 2 seasons. So he had 1,123 rushing yards in 231 carries. So it's about 4.9 yards per carry, almost rounded up to 5, which is 5 is, for those that don't know NFL running backs, 5 is pretty much near the elite tier of running backs. If you're getting 5 yards a carry, that's halfway to a first down every time you're carrying the ball. He also had 7 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. In his rookie season, 579 yards and 544 in his second. So he was about average, the same across both of his seasons. And he was the leading rusher in his second season despite missing 4 games, which I'll get to in a moment.
Leading rusher for the Vikings?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, not in the whole league, leading rusher for the Vikings that season, sorry. Mike Tice, his coach at the Minnesota Vikings, said Ontario was the best running back he had ever coached and that he could have been great. So I said that there's some strikes in the NFL, and I started saying that he played for the University of Tennessee and then the University of Oregon. That's because he was kicked out of Tennessee for possession of marijuana in the year 2000. So that's his first strike. Before he even makes it to the NFL, he's already got 1 strike against his name.
Oh, so they do retroactive to college.
Yep. It won't. If he never made the NFL, it wouldn't impact him. But for drug charges, they consider that. So that's a first strike already. Then in 2004, the 4 games he missed, that was his second strike. That was for a positive drug test for, any guesses?
Paracetamol.
No,
I'm going to say amphetamines.
not quite. It was marijuana.
Oh, damn. How could we... That's tricky.
That's my bad. I buried the lead on that one
Yeah,
a
we
little
probably
bit.
should have guessed it strikes for marijuana as the whole conversation, that marijuana would be the recurring theme.
So that's 2 strikes for Smith's name. And the team, they were still standing by him. A lot of players have these issues, but 2 strikes in the first couple of years in the league isn't a good sign. But I'll go to the incident, the thing that blew up the Whizzinator. People in the know knew about the Whizzinator.
Gosh, that'd be a mess, blowing up the Whizzinator.
That if you needed to cheat on a drug test, you would find a Whizzinator and you'd use it. You could buy it online. You could buy it, what was online then. You could buy it over the counter at sort of bong shops, I guess was the place that had them, those sort of stores for lack of a better name. Yeah. So on the 21st of April 2005, Vikings beat writer Kevin Seifert, who was working at the Star Tribune, the Minneapolis St. Paul newspaper. He got a call from someone he knew at the airport, and they said to him, I think you better get down here. There's something big happening. And so Seifert got off the phone, and his colleagues reported him just chuckling to himself and laughing, a little sort of sniggering, like as he left for the airport. And when he got to the airport, he found Vikings running back Ontario Smith had been stopped by airport security. In Smith's bag, they had found some white powder. It had gone off in their airport detector system.
He's brought his flour with him for the muffins he was going to bake. Fool.
Maybe he could have used that as an excuse, because the excuse he had didn't hold up very well. And so that prompted a bag search, as it would. And in the bag search, they found the Whizzinator. And that's why the airport security called Kevin Seifert, because they knew what a Whizzinator was. It's pretty obvious what it's used for. And for someone that's already has 2 drug strikes against them in possession of one, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to put 2 and 2 together here. So they suspected it was cocaine, discovered it was actually dried urine when Ontario Smith admitted, no, it's with the Whizzinator here, because getting caught with a Whizzinator, it's not illegal. There was no crime being committed at the time. Possession of cocaine, that's a big crime.
That's right. He needs to say use it with his girlfriend, you know. They're just into some freaky stuff.
I was thinking you say you have a genetic abnormality and it's for your own privacy and to stop you being harassed and things, like the female equivalent.
I mean, actually, to be honest, yeah, you could go on like a story about how, it's like, oh, I'm a celebrity, you know, you're standing at the urinal, like, you know. And
last season at this place, someone grabbed on, ripped it off.
Yeah. There we go.
You guys have come up with some better lies than he had. So Smith told airport security about the Whizzinator and they found it. But he said he was just taking it for his cousin. He was flying to Seattle to see
That is an awful excuse.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
bring it to my cousin. It's not mine, I swear.
So naturally, the league was informed about this. Kevin Seifert, he wasn't the only one to write an article, but his was the biggest. He was the local beat writer guy. It was in the local paper. It was his team, his player per se. And he wrote a really nice article about it, and it was picked up and went nationally. And it was, they didn't say meme back then, but it would have been a big meme talking about the Whizzinator. All the radio shows, the talk shows, they were talking about Ontario Smith and the Whizzinator, because it's pretty funny for a guy to have a fake penis like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I can see the memes now. We should bring it back. We'll start the memes. We'll send them out ourselves.
So the league was informed, but it's sort of iffy exactly what their ruling was, because there was no bylaw about possession of this device that was used to try and cheat a drug test. If you were caught cheating in a drug test, that was bad. That was a strike 3 or strike 1, strike 2, wherever you were up to. But he wasn't caught trying to use it. He was just caught in possession of it. Now we all know why he had it. It's for his cousin.
Yeah.
So the league was, what are they going to do? Thankfully, they didn't have to make a decision on this, because about a month later from this incident, Ontario Smith tested positive for marijuana in another drug test.
Bummer.
You don't buy another Whizzinator?
I think he was a little bit put off. He was banned from the NFL for up to a year for his strike 3 policy. But before that, head coach Mike Tice suspended him indefinitely from the Vikings while the league was mulling over what they were going to do, because it was a terrible publicity for the Vikings and for Smith as a player. Everyone knew why he had it. And if the league didn't rule on it, people thought that it was just going to come out that he had failed another drug test, and that's exactly what happened. So after he was indefinitely suspended from the Vikings and suspended for the league, he lost all of his guaranteed money for the 2005 season. So that was $380,000 that he just didn't receive.
Wait, so that was his salary, or?
Yeah, that was his yearly guaranteed salary at the Vikings.
Right.
The way his contract would have worked, he would have had...
So now he's getting no money at all.
Now he's
it
getting
wasn't
no
like
money.
his bonus or something that scratch off. He's still getting paid. He's zip.
Nothing for him. And in April 2006, he was released officially by the Vikings right before the 2006 draft and a month away from the end of his suspension. So he was eligible to come back in the league and could play again, but the Vikings cut him and went to the draft and drafted more running backs. That's not the end of Ontario Smith. He still wanted to play football. So he signed a month later with the Canadian Football League team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Unfortunately, he turned up to his first preseason practice 20 pounds overweight.
Oh.
And in the first session, injured his foot.
There's good medicine for that up in Canada right now.
I can't say for sure whether or not he stopped taking the drugs.
Just convenient he went to Canada.
Convenient he went to Canada,
It was
yes.
20 pounds of urine. He was saving it up for a drug test.
So Smith played in one preseason game after missing the first one and was cut from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So he never actually played a CFL game. And that's where his football career ends. Smith never came back to the NFL.
Moves into badminton.
Doesn't seem like he moved on to any other sport. Didn't make the NFL, didn't play in the CFL, can't go back to college, and hasn't gone on to any coaching sort of career, and has taken a step away from football. But it's not the end of him in the limelight. On the 2nd of May 2008, Smith was pulled over in Sacramento, California, and arrested on suspicion of DUI. He's taken back to the station, blew over, and so now that's on his record as well, driving under the influence of alcohol, booked on a misdemeanor charge as well as a traffic warrant, and his bail was set at $3,756.
That is rough. Like Ben said as well, it's you could just not. What's he say to people? It's it could have been great. And wait, it's
you get cut by the Vikings.
Screwed it.
You come back overweight, and then you get blue balled by the Blue Bombers when they cut you. And
It's
you
all
can't
his
play
fault.
anymore.
Yeah.
Blue ball by the Blue Bombers. I didn't think of that. That's good.
He could have bought 20 Whizzinators instead of paying bail.
Yeah.
He could have had 21,000 Whizzinators from his contract.
But no need for him anymore. It would hurt too much.
Yeah, you see all the failures in the fake urine that's coming out.
Yeah.
Crying
Or
with
maybe
tears.
it's the complete opposite. maybe he's, I don't know, really into Whizzinators now because he's like, oh, I want it to work. This time he has fantasies that he's still cheating the system.
Do you know what colour he used?
What colour Whizzinator?
Yeah.
I would guess the brown one.
You'd guess.
I'd guess. Yes.
I see.
I haven't actually seen the Whizzinator. People have, though, and I'll get to that because the Whizzinator story doesn't end here. I'll just finish on Smith that he has, in a way, returned to football. His son, Ontario Smith Jr., plays for Sacramento
carry on the
State.
name.
Yeah, Sacramento State Hornets. He's a wide receiver. He's going into his third season this year in 2025.
Wow. Well, that's good. I hope he. I guess he can probably stand to smoke one or two joints nowadays, but I hope he does a little bit better. Stays below weight.
Back onto the Whizzinator itself. So Smith, once he was kicked out of Minnesota Vikings and went up to Canada and sort of disgraced.
He becomes the spokesperson, doesn't he, for the Whizzinator?
No, he abandons a storage locker in Minnesota. Has a bunch of stuff in it. And so eventually they go into it and they open it and they find all this Vikings gear that he left behind. And so that stuff was auctioned off by Shakopee Auction Center in Minneapolis. So items included Smith's playing gloves, his helmet, a game ball that he received against the Packers, some other signed balls from the Minnesota Vikings teams at the time, and a 2003 Vikings playbook.
I guess it really must have hurt him if he left all that stuff there.
Maybe so out of his mind he forgot that he had one.
But the crown jewel of all the stuff on auction was the Whizzinator.
Oh, beautiful.
The one he used, the one that was caught with him at the airport,
This
went
is where
up for auction.
Please tell me you bought it. And here it is today.
Unfortunately, I did not. This was in 2009. It went up for auction. If I had known, I would have. But I think you'll be happy with who did buy it. It was a man named Matt Little. He actually sent someone on his behalf to go to the auction and buy it for him. And he bought it for his sports bar, Buster's Sports Bar and Grill in Mankato. And he paid $750 for it.
Good deal.
Good deal. And some context, Mankato back then was where it's a suburb in Minneapolis, which is where the Vikings have their stadium and train and all that sort of stuff. So Mankato is where their training facilities were. So Matt Little had a bunch of other Viking stuff in his sports bar, and he wanted to be the Minnesota Vikings official sort of sports bar. And he thought adding this would also add to the fan experience. And so he said he wanted to display it on his sports wall next to other memorabilia behind plexiglass. He didn't want people going up and touching it and trying to use it and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would go grab it.
One of the heads on the taps at the bar, just the Whizzinator.
Oh, that
Have the beer coming out of it.
Oh,
You've been on fire. We got to get you a business. You got to start running it. So Little said in interviews after that he wanted to reunite Smith with the Whizzinator and that'd be a great publicity stunt for Smith and Whizzinator and the bar, but sadly that never happened. I couldn't find whether he got in touch to Smith and Smith said no, but I imagine Smith wouldn't have been too happy about doing a promotion for the thing that ended his career.
yeah. So he didn't become the spokesperson.
No.
Bummer.
You want a spokesperson. You want them to come out after retirement, never being caught, and then coming out and going, I use the Whizzinator every time. Show its success.
I guess. Yeah. Or you just get someone that's totally clean.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
As of 2025 now, I am unsure where the Whizzinator is now. It could still be in Matt Little's Buster's Sports Bar and Grill in Mankato.
I think we've got an excursion to make.
First vlog.
Yeah.
I'm keen to go check it out. Let's go to Vikings country. So that's where the story of the actual Whizzinator ends. But it's not the end of Whizzinator in general. This was a big product, and there's some other big names that have used this. So I'll go through a couple of other people. Ontario was the main story. His was the funniest, the biggest, the one that put the Whizzinator in the limelight. But there's another very famous name that admitted to using it. Have you guys heard of a boxer named Mike Tyson?
What?
Whoa. Is that the son of the coach of the Vikings in 2004? Mike Ty? Is it Mike Ty's son?
Mike Tyson. Jesus. No. So Mike Tyson confessed to using a Whizzinator on his podcast Hot Boxin' with Mike Tyson. This is a quote from him.
Oh, that's so funny. It's on his on hot boxing.
It was awesome, man. I put my baby's urine in it. And sometimes, one time I was using my wife's, and my wife was like, baby, you better not hope that it comes back pregnant or something. And I said, nah, so we ain't going to use you anymore. We're going to use the kid, because I got scared that the piss might come back pregnant.
What? That's the most Mike Tyson thing to say.
Seems messed up using your kids.
Yeah, well,
Urine.
his kid's not using drugs, so came back clean. Mike Tyson. I want to make this clear though that Mike Tyson has never been caught using any performance-enhancing drugs or steroids or anything like that, and he admits himself that he used the Whizzinator purely to hide his cocaine and marijuana use. Jeff Mondon, he's a former UFC heavyweight fighter. He used the Whizzinator to hide PEDs before a title fight in 2006.
Performance-enhancing drugs, for anyone who doesn't know the term.
So he admitted on Lights Out podcast, which is a UFC podcast, I heard I was going to be tested for the Sylvia fight. So I used the Whizzinator. It's this fake penis device you can fill with someone else's clean urine sample. And that's how I was able to pass the test back then.
Right. So these, they're not using dry urine. Both Mike Tyson and Jeff Mondon, they're both just using other people's urine and stashing it somewhere.
Because in the pack you could put in other urine with your syringe and get it in was the other option. So that would negate the testing of whether this is real urine or not and the effects of it, because it would be legitimate urine. It would have the enzymes
What
and
if
stuff.
Ontario Smith did have cocaine and that wasn't dry urine at all?
You just use
And the Whizzinator was the excuse, and he's like, oh God, I'm glad I got through airport security and they found my cocaine and they just thought it was dry urine. Phew!
Well,
imagine having a sniffer dog.
opened the cold case.
Sniffer dog's like there, sniff. It's like he's pissed his bag.
Yeah. That's his bag. I ain't touching it. I know territory when I see it.
there was also in 2004, so a bit before Ontario Smith, 25 athletes were busted at the Athens Olympics, and this is definitely, I think, going to be a story, including 4 horses for using drugs.
They're
thought you were gonna say-
testing the horses?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying 4
They're
horses
testing
using
the
the
horses.
Whizzinator.
I don't think they make the Whizzinator that big.
That's opened up just avenues of questions. Like, what the heck? It's like, are they testing all like horses and like, are they testing horses in like horse races and stuff?
Yeah, this is something we're
At the Melbourne Cup, did they test horses? I need to know now.
But none of them actually was it proved that they used the Whizzinator, and they were mainly Eastern European. I don't have a breakdown of country by country for the 25. Could be something we delve into later, apart from the horses, which we'll definitely get to. They were using the butt wedge.
The butt wedge.
The butt wedge.
Elaborate?
So the butt wedge is you have a tube with fake urine in it, but you store the fake urine
In your butt crack.
Yes, exactly. Up your butt in a pouch, and then it comes out the tube and out the front.
So you just squeeze.
Apparently so.
That's okay.
But in this group of 25, Adrian Anus, you'd think he'd use the butt wedge, wouldn't you? But he was the main one suspected of using the Whizzinator. He was banned for 2 years, and the gold medal he won in hammer throw was stripped off him and awarded to Japan's Koji Murafushi. So happy ending for Japan there for Koji.
Japan is not a country I'd think would do well in the hammer throw. I think that might be more wild than the butt wedge.
What about like sumo wrestling and stuff? There's some big guys.
Yeah, but I think sumo is different to hammer throw, surely.
Yeah, big country though. There'll be someone. Don't know what blows my mind is. Love you, India. I'm sure we got lots of Indian listeners. Where's the Indian Premier League players? What's going on? There's a billion of you. Why aren't they in the Premier League? It blows my mind.
Back onto the butt wedge quickly, there's a great quote from Matt Heaney of Guttle Sports describing what the butt wedge is. Stick a bag of urine in your ass, run a tube from it between your legs, and hope no one notices. That's the way the butt wedge works.
That's close to what I was cooking up at the beginning.
You pretty much nailed it.
I just didn't. I felt like butt wedge seemed a bit like it wouldn't work, but apparently I'm totally wrong.
What if you're using the Whizzinator and you also need to go to the bathroom and you're standing there and you hit the sound of it's all like, going and make you need to go, and then suddenly 2 streams?
Yeah,
Always.
like they're watching you pee and you're doing the pee dance. They're like, "What's going on here?" Like,
Or you stop start. So you do your fake pee in there, and then you stop for a second, and then you go with your real penis and.
Here's the cup. Here's the cup.
Yeah, quick, get out of the way, get out of the way.
Your trousers drop, you're shirtless, and you just tension your butt, and then it's just like I'm imagining those really cheap, like camp bed inflatable steps that you just pump up to inflate, and you're just clenching your butt and loosening it.
Ooh. There's a couple more I want to just get to. Devis Licciardi, he was an Italian long-distance runner. He was banned for 3 years for attempting to use the Whizzinator. So he was one of the people that had it all attached to him, and the person doing the test thought that's a fake penis and discovered it.
You got the matte black one.
Yeah, there's no way.
They sent James because he's been studying penises for this. They're like, oh, that's a fake penis. Can confirm. I know penises.
Spot it from a mile away. If you ever see me at the urinal looking down, it's for science.
Yeah,
nothing else. Funnily enough, his girlfriend Sarah Malpetti was also banned from all sports for
having a fake vagina.
Years. No, for supplying the urine. She got a bigger ban for supplying the urine than he did for actually trying to cheat.
Well, hey, that's how it should work with marijuana. But it's like we've come full circle. But it's all just going the wrong way.
A big name I know you guys will know, Diego Maradona.
Oh, this is the Whizzinator?
Well, it's wildly reported of his cocaine use throughout his career. Didn't even attempt to hide it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought people would just not drug test him because they're like, well, what are we going to do?
Well, yeah, they sort of have to. He had, the mobs of Napoli supplying him with cocaine and girls back in his playing days. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But there's no exact proof and evidence of this. It's suspected that he used a fake penis. And this suspected penis actually exists. So there is maybe a little bit of truth to this. And it was given to the Buenos Aires Museum as a display as part of Maradona's career.
Does the Whizzinator offer a better, you can go there, 3D mold, get it made to make it a more authentic?
I mean, that was 2004. Maybe now, I feel like we can Whizzinator 2.0. Are they still in business?
You've read the next part of this, Carlin. I'll get to that just very quickly. The Whizzinator was stolen from the Buenos Aires Museum in 2003. Someone stole the
Maradona wanted it back.
Maradona won. And then lastly, Tom Sizemore. He's not an athlete. He was an actor, still is an actor. His biggest role was Saving Private Ryan. He was one of the soldiers in that.
Saving Ryan's privates.
No, well. He used it to pass a drug test after he was convicted of a possession of meth charge. So he had to do constant drug tests to make sure he still wasn't using. And he allegedly used the Whizzinator. He denies it, but he was sort of in trouble for using it. But you've touched on a good point just before, Carlin.
You bought one. It's here today. And I was wearing it the whole time and you didn't notice.
Yeah, I've had my dick out this whole time and it's actually
That's how
fake.
we do every podcast because we haven't put the videos up. Well, they don't know.
Exactly.
We're completely naked for every single one of these.
So in 8th of April 2010, Jared Willis and Robert Dennis Catalano, the two men that invented the Whizzinator, they were convicted of attempting to defraud the United States of America.
By, faking penises.
Yeah, by
They
putting
were
something
defrauding
out.
people. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, not real penises.
Well, it was out there
It's fake.
to help people cheat drug tests, and they were admitting that, and it was quite obvious. So defrauding the American people by preventing the government from catching people out in drug tests and that sort of thing. That was the ruling on it. So Willis was sentenced to 6 months in prison, followed by a 3-year supervised release. Catalano was 3 years probation.
Oh, lucky for him.
He just supplied the Whizzinator. He didn't build it.
Yeah, well, Willis was the president, Catalano was the vice president. So their company, Puck Technology Incorporated, was sentenced to forfeiture all of its assets and forced into dissolution. So that Puck Technologies no longer exists. The company that invented and manufactured the Whizzinator is gone. The president and vice president either in jail or on probation and disgraced. The United States Attorney Robert S. Caesar quoted in his findings of the case, Puck Technology and its owners, Willis and Catalano, sold masking agents or devices designed to help illicit drug users, usually those in public health or safety-sensitive positions, pass employer drug tests. Their products were used to impair and impede the lawful governmental functions of the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, an agency of the United States, in overseeing and establishing federal workplace drug testing programs.
To be fair, it like makes a lot more sense that like they crack down on it harshly because you could be faking a drug test for something more important than an NFL game.
Yeah, more important than sport. You're in a crucial industry. You're a doctor who does surgery and you're on drugs.
Maybe operate, I don't know, like heavy machinery or whatever.
Or you're in the military and you've got lives in your hands.
Yeah,
because there's a
so
lot.
Fair enough.
If you look, there's a lot of other stories out there about the Whizzinator, of people that aren't athletes or celebrities like Sizemore using this to circumnavigate drug tests for possession of drugs or their careers or whatever, and being arrested and charged for that sort of thing. But it does show that America and the government was worried about how the synthetic urine was passing these tests. Partly maybe that, and partly you could have your own fake urine. But if they could catch this definitively and it didn't work, they wouldn't make such a big deal out of this, you'd think.
I guess credibility on the world stage for sports is a big issue. We've seen what happened to Russia in their scandals, and they're not allowed to compete under the Russian flag. If you're America and you claim that you're the best and change the medal tallies to be total medals, not gold medals for the Olympics to make sure you win.
Classic Yanks.
I think the bigger question though is why didn't he in the first place market it as like, no, don't cheat tests. Like, it's just so that you can pee on your friends and it's a fake prank or something. Because, that's the kind of cautious...
Fake dog poo.
Yeah, it's the cautious kind of thing you'd set up now. You wouldn't just put all your cards on the table and be like, this is what I'm here to do. Because that was a bit foolish.
In today's day and age, you're better off going it's for people who, are trans or have genetic abnormalities, and do it for them to make them feel more accepted in society.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of good reasons, and they just chose to straight up say, it's to cheat the system.
Well, Carlin, you've nailed it on the head, because the Whizzinator is still available for purchase. The trademark was bought by Lifestyle Alternative, and they now produce the Whizzinator. You can still buy the Whizzinator. It's $129.95, so it's actually decreased.
Cheaper.
It's cheaper with inflation.
Yeah, significantly cheaper.
Oh, wow.
It is now advertised. You called out both of the things that they use to advertise this, Carlin. It is advertised as a wet sex simulator, so that's pee play, so you can safely do it without using bodily fluids, and a prank device. And that's how it's marketed. Nowhere on their website, on the packaging, anywhere, does it say cheating a drug test.
Does it tell you not to do that?
It doesn't tell you not to do it, but like Ontario Smith in the airport, everyone knew why they had it. It wasn't for a prank.
Pee play.
Pee play. That's what he was going to see his cousin for. So it's still used today around America and potentially around the world. I think we can buy them here if we wanted to put it on display on our wall for people to have wet sex and pull pranks on their friends.
I really hope you got one.
One day maybe we'll have it
here.
here.
I'll get one.
But that is the story of Ontario Smith and the Whizzinator. We'll find out where it ranks on our storyboard after a little break. Welcome back to the wild world of sports. If you're new to the pod, this is the part where we use our mild and wild scale to rank where the episode we just told is on our quest to find the wildest story of all time. At the top of the list from last week, we have Chris Moneymaker, way up there. And then right at the bottom, not at the bottom, but our lowest one, Sergio Motseneng. Is that right, Carlin?
It's good enough. It's better than, I don't know, what I would try.
So where do we put the Whizzinator? We're not going Ontario Smith, because he was maybe the protagonist, but it's the story of the Whizzinator.
Yeah, the Whizzinator as a whole.
So just to sum up the most important points, a company's founded for the explicit use to fake drug tests and defraud the US government.
Exactly. Not just for sports, but a lot of athletes were using it, yeah.
Has now been reinvented for piss play and pranks.
Yeah.
And comes in 6 colours.
Yeah, 6 different.
Some better than others, maybe.
Yeah, you can find it all online. Warning though, content warning for that. So where do we think? I think the whole concept of it and the different stories, like Ontario Smith himself getting caught at the airport lying, how was his third strike, is interesting. Mike Tyson saying he used it is a wild part of it as well. I don't think it's mild as Sergio.
Yeah,
I think it's above Sergio.
My instincts tell me just below Carlos Raposa, simply because it's like, Carlos in a way was like the Whizzinator, but it's like, he's forged his whole career in fraud. But the Whizzinator's just a product. So I feel like, I don't know, it's easier somehow. I don't know. It just seems like just below that to me.
Ontario Smith. The Whizzinator was the most wild thing about his career. Mm-hmm. But then Mike Tyson. Does that make the top 10 wildest things about Mike Tyson's career?
Definitely not.
That's what I'm thinking. Does that make the Whizzinator as a product? If a super athlete, it doesn't even make their top list. Can it be the wildest story? I'm thinking just under the jousting story. Because jousting seems more dangerous than a Whizzinator. And if you're going having 100 plus jousters, I'm willing to die in a joust against you. I think that's just a bit more wild.
Yeah, I suppose the sport itself is a bit more wild to begin with.
I agree with the line of thinking you're going down of it's not Mike Tyson's wildest story. And Ontario Smith was a Minnesota Viking. I don't think it's the wildest Viking story. It's up there, but in terms of Viking stuff, there was the stadium roof collapse. That was pretty wild. A protester snuck in days before a game and hid out there and hid some stuff, and then abseiled down from the roof and got stuck, and they kept playing the game, even though it was dangling above the crowd.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, and this could have been its own story, but someone in the press box finds the number for that guy and calls him live while he's hanging there and has a conversation with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that is a wild story on its own, so you're right. I mean, if it's not even the wildest story for the Vikings, then yeah. I see, like, if it's to the death, jousting. Potentially, not necessarily. You're right, it's probably wilder, so I feel, just below that.
Yeah, so we had the joust is pretty much smack bang in the middle of our wild and mild, so we're putting it just below the jousting, is what I'm hearing. And you can see our very scientific, very high-tech board. It'll be posted on our social media, which is...
Google+. That's the only one, right?
Yeah, but what do you search?
Oh, I think we're the only account on Google+.
The only one left.
You search piss play and pranks.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
You don't need an incognito tag for that. But you can find us at the wild... No, there's no the.
Just Wild World of Sports.
Well, Wild World of Sport, I think it is. We should have figured it out after all this time. But anyway, that's where you can find us. Thank you for tuning into this episode to hear the wild tale of the Whizzinator. I was your story man today, James Whybrow.
I'm James's brother Ben, no relation.
What's the name today?
I don't know. I was going to say, I think I had an idea, but it wasn't very good. It was
Whiz Kid?
Yeah. No, it was. I was going to just be like Carlin, but is that my real name? I don't know.
Well,
it's like fake.
Actually, what's your middle name? Don't say it for safety reasons, but it starts with a
W.
Starts with a P.
Where? Oh,
Carlin P. Sheaves.
Penis.
P, as in urine. P.
Oh. Yeah.
Well over my head there. I was not sure what was going where that was leading.
Let's get out of here. I think we're done for this one.
Just a quick reminder for everyone, please like, follow, share, and if you have any questions or comments or want to hear more about a specific story or want to recommend your own story to be told, hit us up.
At Wild World of Sport.
Or Sports.
See you, listener.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. It's the Mandela effect. Was there a the?
No,
There definitely wasn't a the. We haven't said
The Wild World
before.
of Sports. Have we said that before? We're going to have to go back now.
Because we're doing more than one sport, so surely
Yeah.
it's an S.
The Wild World. But there's only one world.
The
I
Wild
guess it
World
still makes
of
sense.
Sports. Of sport?
All right, well, we'll let that one cook.
That's something probably we should know.